Flemington in 1948 has always been a revered race during the Spring Carnival. In 2013, Australian racing upgraded the Classic Mile race and paid tribute to a legendary Melbourne Cup winning mare, and so the Group 1 Makybe Diva Stakes was born. Australian Horse of the Year Dissident completed the Group 1 Memsie Makybe Diva Stakes double 2 years ago, and the Darren Weir trained former West Aussie Blackheart Bart is striving to emulate that feat this year. The tough sprinter miler will start favourite in a race that has produced only 3 favourite winners in the past 15 years. Weir will also saddle up Australian Guineas winner Palantino and Melbourne Cup hero Prince of Penzance in a 3-pronged attack on the $500,000 race. And Darren Weir has the fave there, Blackheart Bart at $2.30. It is short on the tote. It deserves to be the favourite, doesn't it? We roll over the page and have a look at Palantino, Tarzino and also Sophia Rosa. They are also in the market, but Palantino at $6.50. So Darren Weir is saddling up the 2 favourites in the race, and also his favourite, which is number 1, Prince of Penzance, the Melbourne Cup winner. He's second up from a spell. Forget what happened first up. Harry Coffey missed the kick there and decided to hunt him up. That was a mistake, and Harry is the first to admit that. He should have just let him settle, go through his gears, hit the line nicely. That's what they'll do today. Johnny Allen will be nice and kind on Prince of Penzance early, and then watch him to really rattle home in the last 400 metres and show that he is certainly back on track. Here's number 2, the old boy. Happy Trails, he knows his way around this mounting yard, Simon.
Yeah, we just saw a glimpse of what Paul Bashara, his trainer, had to say, and he looks mighty fine. He's had a couple of trials on heavy tracks. He can run quite well fresh without winning a race like this. He was only 2.7 lengths behind Suavito over 1,400 metres the last time in, but I would imagine he'd run a nice midfield race today.
Here is the favourite, and here is your top selection, Blackheart Bart.
He is, Richo. Weight for age form, and winning weight for age form normally carries on. You follow a horse that's in a purple patch. He's nice and bright. He won the Memsie at Group 1 level first up at weight for age. He's going to carry that into the mile. Some people say, will he run the mile? He was 4th, carrying 58 kilos in a railway stakes in Perth, their biggest Group 1 race, and he was placed at 1,800 metres. Yes, he can run the mile. He's going to enjoy a nice run. Damien Oliver replaces Brad Wawilla. He'll get the best run in the race. He's my tip on top.
He's my value in the race, and I think he'll run in the first 3. His name is Our Ivanhoe. This is the former German import. And the key to this Doomben Cup winner is that Lee and Anthony Friedman have worked him out. They train him exclusively down at Pinecliff on the Mornington Peninsula. He does all his work now down on the beach, and then they bring him up to Flemington for 1 gallop and they race him fresh. He did that leading into the Doomben Cup. His turn of foot was breathtaking. I think he can get Daniel Moore's first ever Group 1. It'll be another Group 1 for Lee and Anthony Friedman. And I think he can stamp himself as a big contender for the Spring Classics today, Our Ivanhoe. Number 5 is Jacquinot Bay.
Jacquinot Bay is backing up from last week's Dato Tan Chin Nam, where he was very unlucky when Awesome Rock, the winner, shifted out at the top of the straight with jockey Stephen Baster, who copped a suspension, caused interference. He got caught up in a lot of that. So Hayes, Dabernick team, the trainers, have decided to run him again. Prior to that, he was a nice second first up.
Entirely platinum. Well, he's been in the placings on many Group 1s. He gets another crack at it here. Dwayne Dunn jumps on board for Team Hawks. He can put himself in the race. The mile, certainly no concern. Can he win at weight for age Group 1 level? That is the big query. You could make a case he can run in the top 3 or 4. Can I see him winning? I don't think so. Number 7 is probably a similar scenario. He must be a question mark, he or she, at weight for age.
It was a nice return at weight for age when they, they just ran too quick for him. That was in the Memsie behind Blackheart Bart. He's a Group 2 winner here at Flemington, Richo. He flies second up. There's some ticks for this horse to run quite well. Maybe the multiples today at the $17 that you can see on screen. So I think from his good draw, he gets a cushy run, and he's a horse to provide a bit of value for you.
There's the forgotten horse in the race, but you'd be a little concerned to see that he's a little on edge and a little keen to show his manhood as well, and that is Alpine Eagle. I liked his first up run, and I thought 1,600 metres, Flemington is certainly a track that he does appreciate. Whether or not just needs one more and 2,000 metres is the only query, but once again, he's pretty colty today, which is a worry.
Yeah, he hasn't got the mind on the job. Now, the key with him is the blinkers go on for him second up. But when horses expose their fifth leg and their mind's not on the job, Richo, we saw it with Extravagant in the last race. They just use too much nervous energy.
And here is another stallion, but he's got his mind on the job, and that is the Derby winner, Tarzino.
I reckon he's the blowout horse for me. He's my best roughie in the race, Tarzino. Look, the last time he ran over 1,600 metres, he fought out a ding-dong battle with Palantino as 3-year-olds. He got back in his first run. Forget that, it was too short, 1,400 metres. Today, he draws a good barrier, 1,600 metres, back at Flemington. The sting's out of the track, which he loves. He's my blowout horse at very good value, Tarzino.
Here's my top selection, is horse number 10, Palantino. He's third up from a spell. Third up last preparation, he won the Australian Guineas. Here he is on screen. His second up run, he ran the fastest 600 to the 400, and then his timing chip failed. But then you'll watch the replay, he finished the race as well as Blackheart Bart did. And I think he has been set for this race, and as a future stallion, this is so important for him to win, Palantino.
Key for him is the barrier 5. His jockey Mark Zara on board there needs to get him to settle. He still does the 1%ers wrong for mine. He gets his head up mid-race. He was laying in behind them in the Memsie first up there at Caulfield. He needs to be really genuine today to win at Group 1 level, but he has the potential and ability, and I think that's what you're backing.
Ayers Rock looks a treat. He's second up from a spell, but it's hard to make a case for him at weight for age. A different scenario for the next horse that we will assess, and that will be the Group 1 winner from New Zealand. She now calls Australia home. She's been with Lindsay Park Racing for a while now, and she's going really well. Rising Romance.
Yeah, she's a weight for age star place getter. She finds it hard to win, but she draws a nice inside marble again. I remember when she drew well behind Preferment here back in the autumn in our prestigious Australia Cup over the 1.25 miles. She sprinted well fresh first up over the 1,400, running second to the favourite Blackheart Bart. There's no reason she can't bring that form here and be tough to beat. And look, the winner at some stage from an inside draw. There's not much speed in this. She'll sit forward, she'll give it everything she's got, and she looked as though she's trained on well.
I think this mare can beat her home, though. Trained by Stephen Marsh, ridden by Danielle Johnson. You get no knock there. She's won 3 career Group 1s in her life. Her first up performance, she broke 12 seconds for the last 200 metres in the Memsie Stakes. I thought it was a really good... Welcome back to our feature. This is the Group 1 Makybe Diva Stakes, and Maddie Campbell, who is the market mover?
To state the obvious, Rich, I didn't think it was possible, but it's coming again. Blackheart Bart into even money. No more, please.
Well, Simon Marshall, stop backing it, but you've got it on top.
He's the best weight for age horse in the race. Damien Oliver has ridden a double already. He's the best jockey in the race in terms of Group 1 races. He eats it for pressure. So he's my tip on top of the horse I want to ride in the race, Richo. Tarzino in the red colours with the white line to bounce out and maybe blow him away.
I'm going with Darren Weir, but I'm going with that horse that's making its way forward. He's racing for a future as a stallion at Sun Stud, which has purchased into him. His name is Palantino. I think he can get a dream run over the mile here and test Blackheart Bart. Good luck if you're having a bet here. You should be, because this is going to be a bit of fun. It is a classic. It is the Makybe Diva Stakes. Group 1 level, weight for age over 1,600 metres. The German import goes forward. Our Ivanhoe. Can Daniel Moore capture his first Group 1? Can Danielle Johnson win her 4th and her first in Australia? Here's Greg Miles to call the action.
Here and in she goes, and they're ready to run. Fielder set. One of the jockeys calling out, not now, but now they're off. And Tarzino was slow to move, and Prince of Penzance goes back as well. And in the early stages, Blackheart Bart settled down about 5th placing, and Entirely Platinum had the lead comfortably through the first 200. Led by a length, Rising Romance up there in 2nd placing, followed by Ayers Rock, and then came Blackheart Bart a length away in 4th. One to Jack and Obey, he or she. Then Tarzino, Our Ivanhoe on the outside, one to Palantino by the 1,200 metres. A length and a half to Alpine Eagle, about 2 to 3 lengths. Then to Happy Trails, Prince of Penzance, and Sophia Rosa brought up the rear. About 1,000 metres to to go. Entirely Platinum by a length now to Ayers Rock. 2 lengths to Rising Romance. A length and a half Blackheart Bart. The favourite gets a lovely run. 4th ahead of Jackano Bay. Tarzino's in the mix today, and the white blinkers down on the inside, and then he or she, our Ivanhoe, followed by Palantino. They race up towards the home turn now, and they were being followed back behind those Happy Trails. Alpine Eagle ahead of him. Prince of Penzance is second last, and Sophia Rosa is last. On the turn now, into the straight for the Makybe Diva, and entirely Platinum narrowly from Rising Romance. Blackheart Bart joins them wide out on the course ahead of Jackano Bay. Tarzino going for an inside runner. They're now Ivanhoe and Alpine Eagle coming towards the 300 metres though, and Blackheart Bart takes control. He leads by about a length to Palantino, starting to finish off well. Then came he or she. Out wide of us Jackano Bay. Blackheart Bart has a race in his hands because Palantino joins him. The stablemate heads him. Palantino draws away. He's too good. Palantino by 3/4 to Blackheart Bart. He or she ran third. Close go for fourth. Jackano Bay and Prince of Penzance hit the line well. Followed by our Ivanhoe. Tarzino. Rising Romance didn't finish a race off from Happy Trails. Sophia Rosa. Alpine Eagle entirely Platinum, and Ayers Rock.
What a win to Palantino. He secures his future at stud. Ecstatic owners worth so much to them emotionally but also financially. What a win. Darren Weir gets yet another Group 1. It's his first ever Group 1 Quinella. Palantino defeats Blackheart Bart. Darren Weir's 15th Group 1. Mark Zara's 6th in his career. What a win to Palantino. Blackheart Bart terrific in second, and he or she flashes late. There's a nice race in him this spring, in for third.
Well, you know what? To the favourite backers, he had every possible chance. If anything, he was trucking on Damien Oliver. He got to the front a little early, but Damien Oliver couldn't hold Blackheart Bart any slower. When Rising Romance popped off the fence at about the 600-metre mark, it pushed him a little wide. He really got aggressive with Damien, and he found the front a little early. So he was a bit of a sitting duck, but he was the best horse in the race, and Ollie rode him like that. Now, Palantino, great hands, great balance. Mark Zara, he had beautiful cover back behind Jackano Bay by he or she in the really fluorescent lime colours there. And this is this horse, and beautiful training by Darren Weir. His best runs have been at Flemington. He won the Australian Guineas there at Flemington. He settled, he did all the 1%ers perfectly today, and as a stallion going forward, that's the race he was set for. He now becomes a $20 million plus stallion for his group of owners. There's a bunch of battlers from Ballarat that got involved into this horse. So what a terrific result, because it did come down to a ding-dong battle. He was there to be beaten Blackheart Bart, and he showed his class, this 4-year-old. We have a new player heading towards the Cox Plate.
I think this was the race that they really targeted. 1,600 metres, like the Australian Guineas when he was able to win there. A huge performance there. And Mark Zara, the winning rider, this is the start of, I think, the next 2-3 years, he's going to be a serious star of Australian racing. Let's catch up with the winning rider.
Mark Zara, Palantino, this one means a lot to you, and geez, come out on top today.
Come on, Sonny, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, look, I love this horse, and he gave me a beautiful ride in the run today. Usually he can get his head up, but just relaxed, so good, and I just got the splits at the right time, and geez, he's sprinting quick.
And we can see him here now, just how he cocks his head up like that, and it was important that obviously you were sweet, and he travelled nice for you for the first half of the race.
Well, the thing with him, if you try and ride a race and bang him in a spot, you can sort of nearly get over racing, but just let him be where he wants to be. His turn of foot can be, really exhilarating. He did that today.
And having the drop on the stablemate, obviously, Blackheart Bart, he trucked up nicely, but then this horse loves to run it down.
Exactly, and I was just smothered up for that long. I thought I just need a bit of room, and when I got it, I knew that, Ollie gave a bit of a kick, but he was too good, this horse.
And great for the connections in this horse. Big team of owners, Mark, but they've been good to you, and it's been great to get the opportunity today.
Yeah, I've got to thank the owners and also the Sun Group who've kicked up for me to ride, and obviously Darren, he's a freak, isn't he?
Well done.
Yeah.
A quick break, we'll come back and we will catch up with the winning trainer, Darren Weir, and he will reflect on his 15th Group 1 and his outstanding career. Palantino wins, defeats Blackheart Bart. He or she, the numbers 10, 3, 7 and 5.
And he was just going through the motions, got a beautiful ride. And I knew when he got to the outside of him, I didn't know whether he'd get past him, but I thought he would test him, you know. But obviously just had the one extra run and the other horse ran great as well.
You have been saying all the way through this campaign you wanted to get him to the mile here at Flemington and you'd be able to see the real Palantino, and he certainly delivered today.
Yeah, he did. And look, originally we were going to go to the Rupert Clark and then the Toorak. And then I sort of thought, oh, well, actually it was my racing manager, Jeremy, sort of just put the Caulfield thing in my head. He said, what about Flemington, the Makybe Diva? And I thought, it was probably not the silliest idea, you know. So then we changed plans a bit, and because he'd been sort of heading towards the Rupert Clark, and then when we changed plan, he had to run a couple of weeks earlier than what we'd planned, so he was always going to be a little bit vulnerable in those first couple of runs, but lucky enough he's come on enough and got the job done today.
He's probably an important horse for you for a variety of reasons, but one, he won a stallion-making race during the autumn, the Australian Guineas, and then he was bought by Sun Stud. So now to get that second Group 1, this would be a big achievement.
Yeah, it is. It's great. You know, they massive investment into the horse, Sun Stud, and can't thank them enough for leaving it with me. And obviously now to win a mile race as a 4-year-old, it's very important for his stud career, and I don't think it'll be the last one he wins neither.
What is his likely next step?
Well, probably, you know, obviously this was the race he was aimed towards, and then we were going to, if he measured up, obviously head towards the Cox Plate. So I guess we'll have to map out a plan towards that now. Haven't had much of a chance to have a look at Prince of Penzance, so I'll go and have a look at the replay now.
I'll give you the tip. You'll be smiling afterwards. Well done, Darren. A great achievement.
Good on you. Thanks.